Hi everyone, Matt, CEO of Inception Labs, and today I'm going to talk about cheat meals and refeeds. These are probably two of the things that clients beg me for the most. When can I have my next cheat meal? When can I have my next refeed? And it's important to understand the difference between the two, because I even find with clients that I've worked with for some time, they actually confuse the purpose of the two. So, first off, a cheat meal, it's literally a single meal in isolation away from your plan. And it only has psychological benefit. There's absolutely no dietary benefit to it. So, this is you've got your 35 structured meals a week, and one meal a week you go out and you have whatever you want. It's just to keep you sane while you're on a structured diet. It's normally maximum once a week. It's a very occasional thing, and it really has no influence on your overall metabolic rate. And typically, it still has controls. People can't go completely nuts. So, generally, if I give one of my clients a cheat meal, it will be very much around you can go out and have a burger which is grilled, not fried, or something along those lines. You need to have kumara chips, not potato. There's sometimes some structured rules around them, but it's just a meal to keep people sane when they're on diet plan. On the other hand, a refeed is basically an increase in calories, typically across a whole day or an extended window of probably 6 to 8 hours. And its focus is to boost calories significantly over your standard eating plan. So, for some of my clients who are more progressed in their journeys, their standard calories per day might be, say, 3,000 calories. And when I give them a structured refeed, they might be trying to hit 10 to 12,000 calories in that day. So they're eating a huge amount of food, and in particular carbohydrates. There's a massive focus on carbohydrates for most refeeds. The idea of a refeed is to boost your metabolism. So when you ingest that much food, your body has to get rid of it. It has to use the energy somehow. So its only option is to accelerate your metabolism to do that. So you'll typically get the sweats when you do a refeed. You'll feel hot, and that's about your metabolism accelerating. So your metabolism goes up to deal with all that food, and then it slowly comes down, but you've already gone back on plan the next day. So you have a larger gap between your metabolic rate and your calorie intake for a period after the refeed, and that's why people typically lean out after a refeed. It's also very useful for things like pushing water out of their system if they've got some retained water under the skin as well. It's really good for replenishing stores of glycogen and helping to regulate hormones like leptin. So when people are on a restricted diet, their leptin hormone tends to get a little bit out of whack. The refeed helps to re-establish that, just to get their body into a healthy, regulated environment. And leptin's actually critical for weight management. So if you eat on a restricted calorie diet for too long without a refeed, sometimes your weight management actually starts to get a lot more difficult in the long term. So refeeds are really good for keeping that leptin level healthy. Clearly, you get some psychological benefit from it, but if you do a refeed properly, by the end of the day, you should be hating junk food and remembering why you're on a diet in the first place. So, for a lot of my clients, it's with great excitement when I tell them they've got a refeed day coming up. They can't wait. By the end of 2 to 3 days, I'm sick of hearing from them about all of the foods that they're going to eat, and they're sending me pictures of the spread of lollies and chips and everything else that they're going to eat over the course of their refeed. They get started. I'm hearing from them for the first half an hour how great they feel, but now they're full. Can they stop eating? Nope, you've got to keep eating. No, you've got to keep eating, and this continues for about 6 to 8 hours. By the end of it, they hate the sight of food, and I'm getting messages saying they can't wait to be back on diet the next day. So it's really useful in terms of it does actually help curb some of those cravings, because it reminds you how much you enjoy eating healthy by the end of the day, because you do get all of those negative side effects of all of the processed carbohydrates. So if you refeed properly, it really shouldn't be that enjoyable an experience. There are typically some controls in place. So you need to make sure you're getting the right macronutrients in, so it's very carbohydrate dominant. There's not a lot of fats and proteins going in. There's really just maintenance amounts. I tend to avoid things that are highly inflammatory to the gut, like dairy, especially if the client hasn't been having dairy for a period. The last thing you want is them to get gut inflammation midway through the refeed. It can be massively uncomfortable. They'll end up on the toilet too often. So you don't want to make it an absolutely brutal experience. So there typically are some controls in place. So in summary, cheat meal, it's a one-off meal. It's just for psychology. There's no physiological benefit from it. A refeed is a structured eating day or window which is designed to boost your metabolism and have specific benefits in your health journey. I hope you found this video useful.